und willkommen zurück bei Let's Play Star Trek Judgment Rites. Wir müssen uns jetzt auf den Weg machen zu Onyius II. Ich habe auch direkt schon auf meine Sternenkarte geschaut. Ja, ist ja Sterne in Bewegung hier. Komme ich jetzt nochmal zur Map? Nee. Ah, da ist, glaube ich, die Map, oder? Nicht? Wo ist denn die Map? Where is the map? Ja, ich glaube, das war die Map, ne? Und das müsste Onyius II sein. Ich hoffe es. Sollte ich vorher vielleicht mal speichern? Wäre vielleicht eine gute Idee, oder? Moment. Ich speichere vorher mal. Hihihi. Man weiß ja nie.
Save new game.
Sie.
Replace previous
Sie.
game.
So, gespeichert haben wir jetzt. Nein, der war es nicht. Er war's. So, das müsste Onyius II sein. Flitzen wir mal hin. Tschung. Zip. Ach, welche Animation. Ich bin begeistert.
Approaching Onyius II, Captain.
It may be nothing, Captain, but a scan of the planet's atmosphere indicates a high concentration of rare gases trapped in the planet's magnetosphere. Atmospheric disturbances could produce random radio waves.
It wouldn't be the first time, Mr. Spock, but we'll never be able to tell if we don't check it out. After all, to seek out new life and new
Go
civilizations
where
is
no
our mission.
man has
To
gone
boldly
before.
go where no man has gone before.
Boah.
A split infinitive, Captain.
What?
The proper grammatical expression is to go boldly where no man has gone before.
Somehow, I think it loses a little in the translation.
Boah, ist schön. Keiner mag Klugscheißer. So, jetzt sind wir bei Onyius oder wie sie es gerade ausgesprochen haben, 2. Wenn ich das richtig verstanden habe, sind wohl irgendwelche Gase in der Atmosphäre, die irgendwas stören, bla bla, keine Ahnung. Mein Star Trek Englisch ist nicht ganz so gut. So, und jetzt? Ich dachte, ich werde wieder irgendwie direkt gebeamt oder so. Nee, das ist Angriffsbla. Was kann er denn? Oh. Onyius II. Onyius.
Onyius II, a Class M planet in a system consisting of 3 unformed planets. Because of the high level of micrometeorite activity in the system, it is unusual for a Class M planet to exist. The planet is not inhabited and is not scheduled for
Warum war der
colonization.
nochmal hier? Keine Ahnung. Sehr schön.
We are too far from the planet for a detailed sensor
Ja.
probe, Captain.
Da, in den Orbit.
Entering
In den Orbit. Fliegen. Ah, ja gut, der sieht nicht wirklich sehr bewohnbar aus. So. Dann scan mal.
Fascinating, Captain. Sensors indicate only 2 faint life forms. It is difficult to distinguish, given the discharges in the planet's magnetosphere. It is, however, safe to transport to the
Okay,
planet's
also er sagte, er kann jetzt im Moment nur 2 einzige Lebensformen auf dem Planeten scannen. Dass es aber schwierig ist, wegen dieser magnetischen Strahlung da irgendwas genau zu erfassen, aber dass es sicher wäre, rüberzusetzen auf dem Planeten. Wahrscheinlich mit dem Shuttle, meint er dann. Ja, machen wir denn da?
Target
Target Analysis on. Wir beamen.
Captain, our sensors will not be particularly useful to you while you're down there, and communications may be erratic, sir.
We'll be fine, Lieutenant. What reason is there to worry?
I'm afraid, Captain, there are plenty of precedents. We'll be here if you need us.
I have no doubt of that.
I have tracked the signal to its source. It is near the life forms. The rest of the planet is quite desolate. No sign of life or technology. The atmosphere is thin, but breathable. And I detect numerous micrometeorite hits.
There are 3 unformed planets in this system. It's no wonder. There are so many micrometeorites. I'm surprised any Class M planet hasn't been pulverized by now.
It is not inconceivable.
Ist halt ein sehr unfreundlicher Planet.
Let's do it, Spock. You, McCoy, and I. Oh, and tell Bones to see if a genetic specialist's available. If there are only 2 life forms, we might be privileged to see life at its earliest stages.
Oh, Pille nehmen wir diesmal gar nicht mit? Doch, Pille nehmen wir mit, oder? Klar, wir sind doch die Gang.
Seems to me as if we've landed on a skeleton after the vultures have picked it clean.
A fascinating analogy, Doctor. Captain, the locus of
Building.
the distress signal is in that building.
I think the doctor is right. Anything good here died a long time ago. It feels creepy to me.
Thank you for that opinion, Mr. Johns. I'll be certain to use creepy in
Mr.
my
Johns, wieso hat er kein
log
rotes
entry
T-Shirt an? Er ist ein Niemand und hat eine Sprechrolle gehabt. Das heißt, er muss sterben, aber er hat kein rotes T-Shirt an. Ich bin verwirrt. Und wieso ist hier ein Gebäude, wenn es angeblich so unbewohnbar ist, der Planet, und nur 2 Lebensformen? Naja, wir gehen einfach mal rein. Was ist denn hier schon wieder?
Well, I have to hand it to whoever built this place. All this equipment looks brand new and in good repair.
Let's hope the Enterprise looks this good when it's this old.
We should be very careful about how we proceed, Captain. I have a strange feeling that evil is lurking nearby.
Evil, Ensign?
Something that wants to imperil
Oh
our souls,
Gott.
sir.
Wen habt ihr euch
We
denn da
must avoid
mitgenommen?
that at all costs.
This appears to be a patch of rust and dust that has accumulated
Suffers.
on the machine's
Schiffers. Was scannen wir da überhaupt ist?
Aside from some dust and dirt and a small chemical deposit on the intake nozzle,
DNA
this
Replicator.
DNA replicator appears to be in the same condition that it was
Das ist ein
50,000
50.000 Jahre alter DNA-Replikator. Was macht ein DNA-Replikator? Er repliziert DNA, aber ich bin verwirrt.
This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old. Yet it has not broken down.
Das ist ja
and appears to
kurios.
be
Spock.
Captain, Ensign Johns would be the ideal person to operate this device.
Ach so, na gut,
It
dann...
appears to be ancient.
Ach nein, du sollst den nicht scannen.
There are life form readings just to the east
Okay.
and west.
Na komm, Jonesy.
Wow, this is almost identical to an 8000 sequencer. Cutting-edge Federation technology. Just input a sample, and the sequencer analyzes it so it can be spliced or altered on the genetic
Okay.
level with the replicator.
Erinnert ein bisschen an die Fliege, wenn ich das jetzt richtig verstanden habe. So, wir gehen mal weiter. Huch. Who's that?
Greetings, gentle beings, and welcome. I am Azra of the Omegan people. You are the salvation we have long sought. Thank you for answering our summons.
An angel!
Actually, it is the projected image of an angel, Mr. Johns.
Jim, somewhere in that machine behind the portal are single-cell organisms. They have a healthy metabolism and long lifespan, but an extremely low rate of reproduction.
Ja, reden wir doch mal mit dem Engel.
So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. All right, I know you're just a projection. So
Nein,
where's the
wir
emergency?
bleiben förmlich.
Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do?
I am Azra of the Omegan people, an ancient and venerable race which labors to prevent the domination of this world by the forces of darkness. We require you to expunge this place of our mortal enemies.
Captain, the most worthwhile purpose in life is to fight against the forces
Ja,
of
junger
darkness.
Padawan.
We must help him.
Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about? Our prime directive prohibits us from taking part in wars on one side or the other. It would be seen as intervention. We are willing to negotiate a compromise. You will forgive me if I don't fall for a pretty face. I'm not about to expunge anyone. And I will take no action until I've heard both enemies. This
Ja.
world is so barren that all the life on it is...
I speak of the Alphans, of course. They are foul, cold creatures who pervert even the most sacred ideas. They cling to the heretical belief that life began within darkness. Of course, we recognize light as the life bringer. things began in a brilliant, life-giving burst of light.
A burst of light. That's a common motif in creation stories.
Or in accordance with the Big Bang theory
Bang.
of the universe's creation.
You must expunge the world of the Alphans. This is why I called you here. I know you can accomplish what you need to do with the equipment that is present. Be warned, Wisner can be very persuasive. I await your report of success.
Alphans. Müssen wir mit den Orphans mal reden, wa? Was ist das?
This casing is constructed from a uranium alloy and contains computer equipment, an image projector controlled from the keyboard, a communications relay, a genetic bank behind that porthole, and a slot with which to take samples from the genetic bank. The computer is quite sophisticated, Captain, with encoded engrams similar to Dr. Daystrom's M5 computer program, which would indicate
Also aus dieser Maschine kam gerade diese Projektion. Man kann aber auch irgendwie Proben aus der Datenbank entnehmen oder so. Ja, ja. Ja, ja, so ist das. Also wir sollen mit den Alphans reden. Die Alphans sind wohl der Feind der anderen Spezies hier. Name vergessen. Der Engel. Bla bla bla. Wahrscheinlich sind das die Ureinwohner. So, was haben wir hier? Das sind dann wohl die Alphans.
I welcome you, otherworlders. I beseech you, save us from that which seeks our destruction.
How fitting for a devil to appear on a world that looks like hell.
Enough of that, Mr. Johns. This is just another xenobiological entity.
Correct, Doctor. This
Ja.
is a projection of a xenobiological entity.
Jim, the only life form readings are within that machine behind the portal. Single-cell organisms with an extremely high reproductive rate, but a very poor metabolism and an extremely short life.
Also gerade bei den Engeln, die Lebensformen waren wohl, hatten wohl eine sehr lange Lebensdauer, aber kurze eine lange Lebensdauer, aber brauchten extrem lang, um sich zu reproduzieren. Die Lebensformen in der Maschine, die haben eine sehr kurze Lebensdauer, können sich aber sehr schnell reproduzieren, wenn ich das jetzt richtig grob verstanden habe. Quatschen wir mal mit dem.
Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you?
Wisner.
I am Wisner of the Alphan people. Our race possessed this world and thrived here until the invasion by the forces of light. We are locked in a death struggle with them, for they desire our destruction.
Nö.
Do you aid them?
No, we do not aid them. Wars and destruction are not things we value, Wisner. Our prime directive prevents us from interfering in internal struggles. But at the
Ja, das
request of
nehme
all
ich, glaube
parties,
ich.
we might... Forgive me, but I find that claim insupportable. This world, while grim, hardly looks like a battleground.
Ja.
Wars and destruction are not things we value, Wisner. Our prime directive...
You open yourself to confusion in speaking with Azra, but it is understandable that you want to hear his side before acting. My assessment of you suggests that most of you will fight the clouding of logic and will see through Azra's deception. Please report to me your success.
Why wait? We've already talked to Azra.
It surprises me that you managed to survive listening to his warped theology. Yours must be a patient life form.
Frankly, Wisner, Azra is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly the blood-mad fanatic you describe him to be. Warped theology. It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldviews are based on common beliefs. You see things from different
Ja,
perspectives.
nehmen wir das.
Frankly, Wisner, warped theology.
Are you utterly ungrounded in logic? They are creatures of superstition. They invaded our world, then sought to drive us from it. How can you suggest we are anything alike?
You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are? You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common. You said they usurped your place in the world, which suggests prior ownership by you. What evidence do you have to support? You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same? You said they used...
We know we came first. first because they invaded us. An invasion suggests they came to take away that which we possessed. Clearly you can see that.
How do you know they didn't exist on this world before you encountered them?
Do you further suppose they came first and we invaded them?
I see there are only single-celled organisms here, each with a defect. Perhaps at one time, the alpha and omega life forms were united. A strong, viable species that became divided. Only by reuniting can you hope to survive. And only through mutual cooperation and our help can you reunite.
Captain, this thing is evil. We can't unite them.
Your position is unassailable and points out the one and only purpose for our races. Thank you, Captain Kirk, for making me see that. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
Plopp. Oh, guck mal, ich habe eine Probe da gekriegt. Moment. Da.
The dark sample seems more filled with corruption than it does any wholesome living creatures.
Nehmen wir doch einfach mal mit. Vielleicht müssen wir jetzt doch nochmal mit dem Angel sprechen.
You take the alpha sample, which feels cold
Ach
to
ja.
the touch.
Das sind halt die Bösen, die aber auch ein Anrecht zu leben haben. Und die Guten, die natürlich auch ein Anrecht zu leben haben. Die müssen wir halt vermixen. Dann kommt ein Mensch dabei raus. So, mal eben hier rein. Also hier muss man wahrscheinlich dann eine Probe reintun. Hier muss man eine Probe reintun, obwohl das dreckig ist. Das muss man dann wahrscheinlich erst sauber machen. Was ist denn hier? Noch einer? Spock, was ist das hier? Ich will nicht wissen, ich will wissen, was das ist. Okay, du weißt es nicht. Er weiß es nicht. Gut, dann lass der uns das sagen. Hä? Was ist denn das?
No effect.
Soll mich jetzt verkackeiern?
A large alien computer. It looks exactly like the in-out access port at a genetic research facility. A viewing port into the genetic.
Hier kommt vielleicht dann am
holding
Ende dieses, die vereinte Spezies heraus. So, gucken, ob ich mit unserem Engelchen nochmal reden kann. So, Engelchen. Engelchen.
You get no
Jonesy, kannst du mal das Engelchen rausholen? Ja.
no effect.
Hallo.
Spock, what do you think of this part of the machine?
Merely the casing, Captain. The truly important parts of the machine are the keyboard and the portal.
Jonesy, hol den Guten. Hä?
No effect.
Maybe I should ask Spock.
Ach, jetzt doch Spock. Pff, ihr verwirrt mich.
I
Ja,
will
genau.
now reactivate Azra, Captain.
So. Quaken wir mal mit dem. Nein, nicht angucken. Quaken.
Was it not as I said it would be? Are not the Alphans
Unworthy of life.
beings?
Des Lebens unwürdig. Das ist schon hart.
Did they tell you their lies?
Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them. Frankly, Azra Visner is quite rational and makes your impassioned pleas for
Nein.
genocide sound psychotic. For a being of goodness, you're rather bloodthirsty. Maybe you should try practicing what you preach. Foul lies? Their position
Captain, they're as different
Boah,
as
Jones, ey,
angels
ehrlich.
and demons.
Similarities? They are beings of shadow. They mock our perfection. They are our antithesis, created after we were to destroy us and our potential for good.
You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it? If you're so perfect, how come you need our help? You said they were created after you were. How do you know that? You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are...
We have sought every opportunity for peace, but none is possible. Or can you not see that?
What I see is a group calling themselves morally superior, yet a group that acts in a venal manner. What you have failed to see is that your attitudes are mirrors of each other. As shadow is drawn from
Ach,
light,
sehr
so
schöner
light
Vergleich.
needs shadow to define it.
Captain, the
Boah,
existence
ey,
of
können
evil does
wir
not
den einfach
justify it.
umnieten?
Quiet, Ensign. If you would stop being so selfish and were willing to give of yourself, much as you ask us to give of ourselves, you can find a solution to this problem.
It will not be without risk, of course, but it is possible. Meet us. Meet the Alphans halfway, and we will help you fulfill your destiny.
The persuasiveness of your arguments has opened for me a door through which I spy a future and a truth that I have long
Muhaha.
denied. You are correct. Perhaps being only half of a whole, I could not see the solution. Yes, I desire your help for my people.
Yay!
Help
Zack.
us.
Boah, und jetzt hauen wir dem erstmal eine rein, oder? Batsky! Mischt er sich ein, wenn der Captain redet? Hallo? Unglaublich. So. Ah, schön. So, meine lieben Liebenden, jetzt machen wir ja aber einen Cut. Hinterlasst mir gerne einen Kommentar, wie es euch gefallen hat. Einen Daumen nach oben, wenn es euch gefallen hat. Und, ach ja, ein Abo, wenn ihr wissen wollt, wie es weitergeht bei Let's Play Star Trek Judgment Rites. Bis dann. Tschüss.